Hello, everyone, from the Jam Yearbook. I'm Matt.
And I'm Jim. We're here to take you on a trip to a different year of music each week and share our opinions on what we found.
Welcome to version 1999, and welcome back.
Yeah.
How long before everything's back to normal for you, Jim?
Dude, what even is normal?
Yeah,
I think I've gotten beyond my hangover, though, from our visit last Monday. It was really great to get together with you. We hadn't had a chance to talk in 11 or 12 years, and we got all that life under our bridge. We totally forgot to talk about music when we finally had a chance to hang out.
Not entirely, but we kind of had to tap out a little bit because we got to show the wife some mercy. Man, if we would have started going on and on about music, it eventually is going to lead to the show. And then I could literally probably hear the eye rolls as they were going to happen. But here we are. We're back. We're covering 1999 on our first show back.
Yeah. And thank you, everyone who's continued to listen. You heard 1981 last week. Now we've jumped from 1981 to 1999. Matt, we recorded 1981 before the break, but we told people that's what they were doing. So if you're new to the show and you've just tuned in, don't be freaked out by this. We took 2 weeks off, but we had 1981 ready to go, so we didn't skip a beat. But here we are. This is the longest time we've had getting ready for an episode and researching for it. 1999 was not what I expected. This is going to be a really troublesome show because there was a lot going on kind of culturally that's questionable. And there wasn't a lot of music that I myself was really tied down to from this year, even though there's a lot going on historically we could speak about. So how did you find it, Matt? What was 1999 like for you?
Well, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right?
That's what they say.
We had this time and I was like, oh, I'm going to get right on this and I'm going to dig right in. And I did at first, but then beer happened. My brother Mark, he came for a visit. I went and saw you, and and I thought I had kind of a grasp of what was going on in 99. Oh boy, I'm glad we had the extra time because I found it kind of confusing going through it all. The whole timeline of it I found to be a challenge to me, how some of these bands fit in my life, they fit in with each other, and having to separate it in the terms of their popularity, in some cases celebrity, what it was then, what it is now. And being close to 30 at the time, I was kind of like you. I was detached from a lot of it. Well, maybe you weren't detached from it, maybe now, but not then. And there was a lot happening with these pop stars that are still around today. Still around today. That's insane.
And you're right. I probably had more connection at that time than you did. I was at college still and running with a younger crowd, working at that restaurant I talked about.
Well, that seems like a good place to start. I mean, we can start with the youth movement, the women that were around.
Youth and women. Yeah. But before we get into it, it's not a one size fits all discussion.
Oh, no, definitely not.
You had adult women. So before we get into the youth, we had some strong female artists that were represented in the charts with especially country music, Faith Hill and Shania Twain.
Yep. I'll allow Shania Twain.
Okay, thanks.
It's probably my fault. I put her in the show notes thinking I knew everything, right? It's like, oh, yeah. Well, because Faith Hill, I associate Faith Hill with Shania Twain. But I mean, she was still making huge waves in 99.
Well, Shania did have a remixed international version of her album. Was it Come On Over? Was that the name of the album, Come On Over?
I think so.
Yeah. But it was a more commercially accessible version of it, of the 1997 release. So who knows when we turn on the radio what we're actually hearing today.
Having Mutt Lange produced that album didn't hurt at all.
No, it didn't. So. Do you remember in a previous episode, though, I think it was 2002, where we talked about how we were faked out by Faith Hill and we thought she was pop?
Definitely.
Because she was accepted by the pop market. She doesn't have twang going on in her vocal.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then for pop, for women, not the kids yet, still with the adults, we had Macy Gray. I'll count TLC as being a little more adult. And then even Destiny's Child was more mature at that point when it came to independent women and Say My Name.
Yep. And we also had debuts from, I can't believe 99 was the debut of Jennifer Lopez. It feels like she's been, but then again, I mean, that was a long time ago, but it does feel like she's been around. Also, Dido
Yep.
And Mariah Carey was still hanging around, putting out platinum album after platinum album.
That's just what she did. Yeah,
Yeah.
all through the 90s. Well, okay. So much respect for those women, older women, making that music. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say older. They were just a little
Oh,
older than who we're going to talk
then
about next.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And that's the teens and the preteens. You had Britney, Jessica, and Christina. They were probably the big three. That's Britney Spears, if you're an
Oh
idiot.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Jessica Simpson, if you've lived under a rock, and Christina Aguilera, if you've never
Yeah.
turned around a television set.
Yeah. So were any of these preteens though, or are we just talking about the audience?
I think the audience more than the girls
Yeah,
themselves. Yeah.
definitely. And
Yeah.
Jessica Simpson, she's got to be like a distant third, just ahead of Mandy Moore.
I think so. That's probably accurate. I award this to her retrospectively. Her Newlywed Show really was what made her a household name for everyone, and that's what started it all for her.
Yeah, I forgot about that show.
Lucky you.
Yeah. I do think of her more of a celebrity than a
Mhm.
singer, kind of like Mandy Moore too. I mean, This Is Us. I mean, she's probably more well known for that.
For
than,
that, yeah. Yeah. Well, I doubt we'll talk about it in a future show because there's not really much classic Jessica Simpson music out there. But the episode of Newlyweds where she contemplates tuna as poultry because it's called Chicken of the Sea is one of the best dumb celeb moments of all time. You might have missed it, but her naivety was hilarious and adorable.
Yeah, and that show had to be scripted. I mean, I understand that confusion with the brand, playing up on the whole dumb blonde thing. So,
well, the official story in a real statement was that she said this off camera, and it was
yeah.
found so funny by the staff and the people that were around that they did script it and they brought it back.
Oh, and thanks for that, by the way. After 99, I'm gonna need help scrubbing my search history. YouTube is gonna start auto playing Jessica Simpson after the Ramones.
Oh, that's great. Enjoy
Oh my
it.
God. Sorry for the mention, but I just needed a palate cleanser. And did John Mellencamp have a resurgence after that song that she had? Because didn't she sample Jack and Diane?
She did. She did. To be honest, I don't know if John Mellencamp actually did at that time, but
Yeah.
I'd probably guess he didn't for one reason. Things weren't being picked up virally on the internet by that point. So,
good point.
maybe there was some slight interest, but we probably wouldn't have seen iTunes charts. That's really what kind of leads things today. So yeah, Jessica Simpson, if she put that in a song today and was young and popular, it might bring back that song because people could just go look it up easily and listen to it and download it, and a play would count towards the charts. But during that time, I don't think it got brought up as much.
Yeah, that's a good point, because usually, like in the rap and the hip hop, when you hear samples back then, you might hear a comment about it, but people wouldn't make a big deal of it like they would, today.
No. And we're going to get on to some of that downloading phenom stuff coming up soon.
Oh yeah. But we still got more to get to. We've covered the women, or at least some of the women that were out there. So what was going on the other side of the track there, the men?
Men he uses
Men.
With quotes. I'm gonna say.
Exactly.
You mean the Backstreet Boys?
Was it that damn obvious?
Well, you'll have to wait one more year before NSYNC takes the crown from Backstreet Boys. Backstreet Boys' Millennium album was the big album of 99. With the promotion on MTV and Total Request Live, it took the crown for the fastest selling album to 1 million copies. NSYNC with their Bye 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 will come in 2000. So we'll talk about that when we do that episode. But
I was just about to give Backstreet Boys credit for Bye Bye Bye. That's a little I remember.
Well, and that's where I should possibly feel ashamed because I can correct you on that. No, Matt, the Backstreet Boys came out.
No, that song was so huge. Everybody has to know who that song is. It just got flipped in my head for a second.
No, that's easy to do with those boy bands. Not a problem. But here's the question for you. How did these teen artists get their footing to take over the music industry? Obviously, we know the Disney machine had a lot to do with it, giving a step up to Britney, Justin, and Christina. They all came out of the Mickey Mouse Club, and the Orlando scene had already dominated pop with the Backstreet Boys' huge success. I even think Ryan Gosling was on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah.
Yep. And I heard, and didn't Jessica Simpson try out for the Mickey Mouse Club?
I wouldn't be surprised. That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But we talk about MTV, and I talked about TRL, Total Request Live. that was peaking in 1999 with over 800,000 households a day tuning in. It was, in my opinion, the last stand of music video relevance and kids running home to watch a video countdown after school. I don't know. And I know that we didn't really have the internet to go and vote for anything at that time. So I would have to go look it up and see if
Mhm.
the kids were voting for these songs. Did it cost their parents $2 every time they picked up the phone
Oh my
or something?
God, probably.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
calling those 1-800 porn phone lines, you know, when they show up and
That's
who
great.
called this number?
Well, anyway, I'm going to say that it was Total Request Live. We'll get a little bit into this further in the show, but I think that's what was pushing Backstreet Boys and NSYNC down the road, and even the younger artists that all popped out of Disney. But
Yep.
let's talk about other music just to cleanse our palate from that.
Yeah, boy. Speaking of, I was just going to say, speaking of cleansing the palate, let's have a drink.
Cheers.
Not to toast what came previous,
Yeah.
but just to get ready for what's to come here.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go right into alt rock.
What was alt rock in 1999?
Yeah, it's a little weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the mid '90s, where I'm in, Colchester, Vermont,
Mm-hmm.
we had two competing alt rock stations, but by '99, one of them had changed format. Those stations rode that surge of alt rock that got highlighted coming out of the grunge scene, and by '99, that had calmed down quite a bit. So one of the stations, didn't survive.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the bands that were in that initial surge in the mid 90s, a lot of them are gone. One hit wonders always fall by the wayside. And others are putting out their third, fourth albums that weren't very good because, you get 20 years to write your first album and then 6 months to write your next, right?
Yeah.
Then there was this growth of new metal that I just couldn't get into. I didn't hate it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's nothing that I could just buy 100% into.
Yeah.
And there were bands coming out by 99 that there was a distinct sound to many of them. There are fewer, Citizen King was around and being played on all rock stations, but they were, to me, they were kind of like the anomaly as far as the sound.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like your Blink 182s and your Blinks and your Limp Bizkits, Corn,
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I didn't have that same experience you did because I wasn't up in northern Vermont. I was still in central Vermont. So
So what
I
did
was
you
at
have for
Castleton.
radio?
Oh, well, I mean, you didn't want to listen to Castleton radio. I can guarantee
Well,
you that.
you didn't want your daily doses of Widespread Panic or Wilco and Gomez.
I think those were there. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not shitting on Wilco and Gomez. I like those bands.
And I was not running home to watch Carson Daly every day on TRL, regardless of what your notes say here, asking me if I was going to do that.
Way to get ahead of it, Jim.
I'm sorry I had to do that. But in 1999, I still had 102.7 WEQX that we talked about in the 1993 episode.
Oh, jealous.
Yeah, and that was still getting good independent alternative rock radio. So there were good songs coming out on it. And while we did have Limp Bizkit and we had Korn, and of course, rap rock was going to last forever. It broke down doors. We'll wait until the next episode to find out if that actually happens. But you still had the growth of bands like the Foo Fighters, who weren't the world dominating Foo Fighters in 1999. They were still up and coming. And a song that I kind of singled out looking into the show without adding it to the ending of the list that we have, maybe the audience will add this down the road, was Learn to Fly, which I think is basically an instant classic rock radio song. It almost sounds like a direct tribute to a Tom Petty tune.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Grohl loves. Dave Grohl drummed for Tom Petty on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And Tom Petty actually offered the permanent drumming job to him.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I mean, this song kind of fits the mold of being an instant classic, right?
It does, yeah.
It hits all the things. It's got a cool riff. It's got high singability, repeatability. So, yeah. And you brought up new metal or rap rock. I think they're kind of the same thing, or at least, closely related.
Yep.
But whatever we're going to call it. Did you notice the demise of the guitar solo? It's more about kind of like big chunky riffs and attitude.
Yeah, definitely.
Guitar playing.
Yeah. This is where the guitar solo really started to disappear. It wasn't without some attempt at creativity. Even though I wasn't the biggest Limp Bizkit fan, I can't really knock what Westmoreland was trying to do creatively. Also, we'll get to them, but Blink 182, as pop as it might have sounded, took the pop punk approach on guitar soloing. So there was nothing in their songs,
Yeah.
and they were dominating the charts in 99.
Keep it simple. Hey, the Ramones didn't do guitar
Oh, you
solos,
got to
so
keep bringing them up. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this: Robert Smith McCure does great guitar solos. Anyway, Lenny Kravitz did have an album out in '99, but
What did he have out in '99?
wasn't a standout guitar. American Woman.
Well, that was off the Austin Powers soundtrack, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Well, I'm picking a song.
Okay.
It has a guitar solo.
You're right, it did.
But it wasn't a standout song. You don't go back to your friends and go, "Oh, but remember that guitar solo from American Woman?"
Yeah, no. But there's another song that, even though it's a remake, but that's was kind of picked up as an instant classic as well. But yeah, the guitar solos, you got to go to metal or like straight ahead rock like Black Crowes. But
Yeah,
this isn't the year for those kind of acts.
no, it isn't. In fact, this year was unlike any year we've covered. As we looked into it, and apologies if we missed anyone, we didn't have any deaths. We didn't find anyone to bring to speak about. I'm sure there were some memorable people, but as far as people that were really kind of impactful in our lives, that wasn't there. So we're going to leave that sad part out of the whole show. But at the start of the show, I talked about how we're going to talk about some problematic things that took place in 1999.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not without its own blanket of kind of depression or just ridiculousness that was going on that we're going to talk about. And we will start right away with Woodstock 99.
Yeah, let's get this over with.
Let's do it. The first Woodstock went well with, a few problems back in the 60s, but, it was very well loved and well remembered. And I think, if you know anybody who went there, I've never really heard a bad thing about it from people who attended it. And then there was the Woodstock, was it 96, 94, 94?
94.
94. And we'll talk about that probably on episode 94. But that didn't walk away with a lot of problems. That was well accepted and people seemed to like it. But when we got to 1999, boy, had the world and the audience changed.
Oh, boy, God. Yeah, they had.
Well, let's talk about the lineup first, Matt. Talk about the lineup, because this should be a decent concert.
It should be. And I don't know how, because we all know we're the bands that are being blamed for causing the problems, the Corns, the Limp Bizkits. But you look at the other groups on here, you wouldn't expect to have the kind of trouble that was going on.
No.
I mean, Lit, The Roots, Bush, DMX, Everclear, Collective Soul, Live, Los Lobos, Alanis Morissette, Sheryl Crow,
Bruce Hornsby,
Everlast. You wouldn't expect, based on the acts, and you can go look it up. I mean, we got it right in front. We're not going to go and list every group that was there, but you just wouldn't expect it. That whatever happened, there was a feeling already coming into the venue that was going to explode. Yeah.
It's not remembered as the good Woodstock.
No.
I have plenty of friends who went and enjoyed it because, they talked about it, but it was really known for descending into violent chaos with areas set on fire and reports of sexual assault.
Yeah, thousands of people descended on Griffiths Air Force Base in Rome, New York.
Probably hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh, it had to have been.
Yeah.
And a weekend of listening to music on a hot tarmac in July. They got to pay $4 for bottled water, which probably ballooned by the third day, and get trench mount. Not to mention, the burden of trying to act like behaved, civilized people. Limp Bizkit was the scapegoat for this festival turning sour. But it was a perfect storm of weather, lack of shade, price gouging, this frat boy atmosphere, drugs, absolutely no downtime with a rave tent going on into the night, and a lack of adequate security. We could go on and on. There's plenty of blame to go around.
Yeah, I'm not trying to lay blame, but I'm going to say that those frat bros must have been really pissed off after Alanis came out and called out their misogynistic bullshit before Limp Bizkit hit the stage. Talk a little bit more about this. Yeah.
And it was amazing to see Fred Durst come off the stage immediately and say, "Oh, it's not our fault." Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Nothing screams guilty conscience more than like immediately, oh, it's I didn't do it. I didn't do it. It was him. It was not our fault. I mean, Jesus. But the stories, the bad stories always seem to kind of emanate from the East stage. The crowd on day one, they're already yelling at Sheryl Crow, show us your tits.
No.
What group performed before her would have provoked that kind of energy? Live, Jamiroquai, or Sugar Ray? This is long before Limp Bizkit or Korn took the stage. This was a charge crowd from the beginning. It was just emboldened, privileged mob behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. This festival was totally overrun by the frat boy bros who felt empowered to do as they please. It's one of the worst displays of pack misogyny that's ever been caught on camera. These guys weren't raging against anything other than their entitlement to be abusive to women and destructive to the environment. It was not a good scene.
No, it wasn't. And the crowning moment was during the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They did an encore of Jimi Hendrix's Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And just before this, the concert goers were handed candles for a candlelight vigil. and then hell really broke loose.
Yeah.
Right? Fire, they're singing Fire. We're really pissed off and just not in a good spot mentally. Hey,
Yeah.
let's burn shit down.
Dude,
once again, it's just a perfect storm.
Yeah, a lot of factors that added fuel, but the fire was
yeah.
already burning in the hearts of these assholes who were looking for an opportunity to create chaos. It was a total disaster. So that was Woodstock 99. We'll move away from it. There's a documentary on Netflix that is well worth watching if you want to get into it.
Yeah. So let's move on to the anti-Woodstock.
Let's do that.
In October at the Empire Polo Field in Indio, California, the first Coachella took place.
Yeah, this is not bad news.
So no, this is not bad news. You know, you had bands, you had Beck, Tool, Chemical Brothers, Perry Farrell, Pavement, Morrissey. The announcement of Coachella took place 1 week after Woodstock. Talk about bad timing. And it took place only 2 months after the announcement. So due to the Woodstock shit show, their insurance rose 40%.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, but between that and the lack of ticket sales, you know, because of the short run time, they lost. I was reading they lost over $850,000.
Wow.
But they were onto something because this Coachella has endured and it's grown.
Yeah.
In 99, I think there was an estimated crowd of 37,000 people for a 2-day festival. By 2012, it had grown to 6 days over 2 separate weekends. In this year, 2022, there was an estimated 750,000 people.
Wow.
Attending. Harry Styles alone drew over 100,000.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, there are some good festivals that are still going on, and regardless of Woodstock.
And I'm sure there's hijinks that go on, but I mean, if they're going on nowadays, you're going to hear about it. And I don't think anything will ever get to the height of Woodstock 99.
No. And it's good that we have these festivals that have stayed consistent. We'll probably talk about Bonnaroo at some point. Lollapalooza seems to hold its ground in Chicago every year still. So there are some good festivals that are still out there, but I'd be hard pressed to go to Woodstock 2025 because of what happened in 99.
Oh my God. Yeah. Who would even play at Woodstock? No. What bands would they get?
I don't know.
Would it be all rap and hip hop?
It probably would be.
In pop.
Yeah,
Ed Sheeran probably would headline.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. And
Foo
Fighters. You bring the Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters. Yeah, they would definitely.
Yep.
They would definitely. So yeah, boy, that there was a tangent. So to get us back on track, we're talking music festivals. The third one that we want to talk about is the third Lilith Fair.
Yeah.
So what do you got for us on Lilith Fair?
Shit. Okay, so this is where I'm going to step up on my pulpit in this episode.
Yep, I'm stepping back. I'm going to actually go have lunch while
Jim goes through this. The thing is, in 1997, this festival went from 1997 to 1999. It only ran 3 years.
And it was a traveling festival, right?
It was. And in 1997, the main stage was huge. You had some of the biggest female artists at that time. This was all women-oriented, focused music. Fiona Apple, Meredith Brooks, Tracy Chapman, Paula Cole, Sean Colvin, Sheryl Crow, Jewel, Lisa Loeb, Sarah McLachlan, who I think actually organized a lot of
I think she did.
Joan Osborne, Suzanne Vega, all huge names in women's music. And then in 1999, they changed up a little bit and they were trying to be more inclusive and a little less vanilla and celebrate more culturally. They had Queen Latifah, Monica, Maya, to mention others. You still had Sheryl Crow, Luscious Jackson joined that. Liz Phair, The Pretenders, who you're a fan of.
Oh yeah.
They were on the stage in 99. But here's where I'm going to step up on my pulpit. Throughout the 90s, and this touring festival is a great example of my point, women in music had really blossomed and they'd grown to have an amazing audience that respected songwriting and talent. However, also in 1999, we're going to come back to MTV and TRL, Total Request Live, when they were peaking with teenage viewership. I really think that MTV and TRL is what bloomed the Kardashian generation of young women. I will stand by my opinion here that it was totally manipulated. When you have a top 10 countdown that has Hit Me Baby One More Time and Genie in a Bottle divided by Let Me See That Thong by Cisco, how do you think young, impressionable 13 and 14-year-old girls are going to act? I don't think this was by design of the young female artist. I'm not blaming Britney or Christina for any of this, but I definitely think this was pushed out by the conglomerate that was controlling the charts at the time. We've talked about it. TRL had over 800,000 viewers a day by this point. These kids were buying records. Money was rolling in once again, being based on songs about teenagers that are ready for sex. It makes money for the big record companies and completely stopped the growth of any feminist movements in its tracks, especially with this Lilith Fair.
And you know what backs you up? Facts.
Yeah.
Every song on Britney Spears' debut album was written by men who are around our age.
That's creepy.
So they were in their late 20s and 30s writing these songs. Christina Aguilera.
Oh, we were in our late 20s and 30s then.
Then, yeah, not now. Not now. You wouldn't know by if you saw if you saw us recently. And Christina Aguilera, she did have some females writing some of the songs, co-writing, but Robin Thicke contributed a song on her album entitled When You Put Your Hands on Me.
Yeah, he's a little creepy, isn't he?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda.
We had our conversations before the show about what was pushing the record sales in 1999. And like I've said, I think that it was TRL with all these kids running home from school to watch the video countdown that was really controlling the charts through the year.
Oh, without a doubt. TRL was the vehicle for promotion. Yeah. I don't think anything else came close.
Yeah, when you're talking about a TV show that's peaking at nearly 1 million viewers a day, even if half of those kids could talk their parents into buying albums, you'd have a couple of million sales in a week.
And can you imagine? So you almost got 1 million households. How many of those are multiple people watching in a single household?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Hey, let's go over to Jenny's house and watch TRL.
And you've got a family and you've got a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old. They don't want to share CDs. You're going to have to get them all the same copy of Britney Spears. You know, I talked about Backstreet Boys and how TRL really promoted that and pushed it. When their video was released, that's the week that it became the fastest single to hit 1 million copies sold. Now, I don't know if it was MTV still promoting or coincidence, but Eminem and the new metal bands that we've talked about, like Korn and Limp Bizkit, they were also all over TRL. Shit, man, Eminem hosted the show a few times. So it was definitely a place to give artists to step into major sales, even if it was a little contrived. Am I just short of saying payola? But for legal records, that's not what I just said.
Yeah. It's hard to not get on your soapbox, like clouds right now.
Being
our age, yeah. And it was more than a little contrived. This is American Bandstand on steroids every day of the week, and it wouldn't surprise me if it got replayed later at night.
Yeah. So is it just me, or is 1999 more about controversy and what was going on than like legitimate good music that was coming out?
Can we blame Canada?
Why don't we?
There's another reason for us to hate on Phil Collins. He won that Oscar.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song, Blame Canada, I think was nominated for the Oscar, but Phil Collins won for a song from Disney, Tarzan. Wasn't Tarzan a Disney
Oh,
movie?
that's right. That's right.
Oh,
How
back
could
to
it not
hating
have
on
been South
Disney.
Park and Blame Canada? You know what?
Jeez.
We'll have to put Blame Canada. Actually, we'll just put all the South Park songs on the audience choice.
Yeah, and apparently I don't mind show tunes when they're vulgar and funny.
Yeah, well, shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker.
Uncle Fucker.
Yeah. All right. So, without the controversy of us swearing and singing that song, there was another controversy that began in 1999 that was huge and had a big, massive impact on the music industry, which some people might actually be like, well, that's not a negative, that's positive, and that can weigh back and forth a little bit. Before you tell us what it is, it's time for me to open my mid-show beer.
Your mid-show beer.
Yes.
Oh, I feel sad. I'm still on my first one.
I'm sorry.
But I'll open it later.
I'm just doing this for any beer company that wants to have their name on the show.
Oh, hey, okay. Yeah, so you brought up a good point. Yeah, hey.
There we
This
go.
could be us opening your beer and giving
That's
you
right.
a plug on our show.
we will do it for beer.
Yes, we will. We will. A lot of beer, but we'll do it for beer. So you led me into it. So we'll go into Napster.
Yeah.
June 1st, 1999. The genie was let out of the bottle. And Napster was launched, and we saw the birth of millions of pirates.
I gotta say, I'm really glad I never had my door knocked on. This was the beginning of tying up the landline.
Yeah, this is before cell phones.
Oh, people. Yeah, but this meant if you tried to call me, you weren't going to get in touch with me. It was a busy signal all day long because I was spending 7 hours trying to download a Beastie Boys Rage Against the Machine mashup that was going to fill my PC with viruses and kill it.
Oh, yeah.
And let's not let Lars Ulrich know that I was doing this at the time.
I tried Napster, but, my legendary impatience and short attention span won the day.
Well, you had to do it at night. The best part, Matt, was to load all that stuff up before you went to bed. And then you get up the next morning.
And then you did it.
Yeah, and you wake up the next day and you've got 3 new songs that downloaded over 9 hours while you were sleeping.
Boy, you should have wrote the Napster for Dummies pamphlet.
I should have.
So David Bowie, on the other hand, he saw the writing on the wall. He released an album in 99 called Hours. Yep. But he made it available for download 2 weeks before the physical release. He was the first commercial artist to take advantage of this. I mean, he saw it coming.
Now, was it purchasable? Did you have to buy it? Was it free?
You had to go to his website.
Okay.
Or he set up a website in order to download it.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the paying. I'm sure. Boy, I don't know what he would have done to compete with free.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out. To be honest, David Bowie's a trailblazer, and we can give him credit. We talked in previous shows about sometimes he copies the times, but this is a moment of following the times and everything that's going on and using it to your advantage as an artist. So Bowie's great at doing that.
Oh yeah, and I'm guilty of calling Bowie a chameleon, and I do feel bad because I think it kind of downplays his talent and his ability. So yeah. I do feel bad for maybe disparaging his name, but Bowie's awesome.
We're going to talk better stuff about Bowie in future shows, so
yes,
I'm not worried about that. All right, do we just want to put 99 behind us now and say that's it?
Can we please? Can I tap out?
And no offense to any Britney Spears, Christina fans, Limp Bizkit fans. You had one comment that I wanted to come back to, and that might be further in the notes.
What's going to bite me in the ass?
No, it was actually something that I was talking about earlier. Actually, I do think we're going to bring it up. So what I'm going to ask you first is this our second craptastic year?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll get, and I'm going to get accused of it. Short answer is yes. And I'll get accused of it, and people wouldn't be completely wrong. And my opinion is, it's age driven, but it's definitely leaning that way for me. This brand of pop and the new metal, I wish I could say it's forgettable, but I can't forget how much I didn't enjoy it. Yeah. Or even in looking back, I just can't revisit it. Some of it's a little embarrassing, actually. I'm sure 1999, it's a pop fan's 1993. Yeah. If there was a crown to give, I would rip that out of the hands of 1986 and hand it over to 1999 in a landslide. I can't imagine this is what Prince had in mind.
No, we were not partying like 1999.
Holy crap.
There there were some good but not memorable throwaway pop hooks and songs. We talked about them a little bit, like, you know, Sugar Ray, you had Lit, you had Smash Mouth, Vertical Horizons, but not just pop. Because I said earlier in the show, we'll get down the road and find out that rap rock is going to last forever. You know, Korn and Limp Bizkit, they were paving the way for metal guitar to become more, in my opinion, widely accepted in music. People accepted harder music after these bands came along, which I guess was kind of a bonus.
Yeah, and probably jam bands. I should have included jam bands as far as the solos.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm sure our jam band friends out there are screaming at us. Right?
Yeah. I can't leave that out.
Widespread Panic had an album in '99.
Exactly, Fish.
Yeah. But you know, looking at like a song like Nookie being as popular as Britney or Eminem over a period of time, or the Korn release and how huge that was, even if the album didn't hang around forever.
Yeah, Issues that debuted at #1 and sold like 575,000 copies in the first week. That is huge.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about Vertical Horizon until you brought them up in the notes yesterday. I'm looking through them like, holy shit, Vertical Horizon. I saw them in the album release, but I kind of just glossed over it. I listened to that and Lit a lot in '99. I still like the Vertical Horizon album, surprisingly. I went back and listened to it last night and I'm like, oh yeah, I still do like this. I thought I was going to have a big cringe moment, like when I listened to Lit the day before.
That's different.
Yeah, that's different. It's just not for me anymore.
Well, like 1986.
I wonder if it ever really was.
There's a lot of music here that's okay, but sounds are changing, and it's hard to find stuff that would be considered classic when that happens today.
You wouldn't know it by listening to radio.
No.
Right? Because I have this idea, and we've talked about it, you know, off air. Another radio term there. We're DJs. We've talked about it in relation to a band I kind of shit on, but we're a year off of them, so we'll get into that when we get there. But this music hasn't been given an opportunity to go away. It's been on the air since it was released.
Yeah.
Things have to go away and then come back to be appreciated. Star Wars, I know we're talking, I'm switching to movies, but that kind of went away and was really forgotten. But then when it came back, boom, explosion. It's special. Things have to go away and come back to be.
And it's not like I wish anybody's career to be over, because I like to see people be successful in what they're doing.
Yes.
But the way the world had worked up until this point was that bands would have a run of a few good albums, and then they'd come back 10 or 15 years later out of nostalgia. And you'd be like, oh my God, look at these guys again. But we've not lived in a world without Britney, Christina, the NSYNC, even, you know, as much as Backstreet Boys haven't been as big as they were since maybe '99 in that time, their music has still continued on. They're still touring. You can still go see them.
Yeah. And they're still referenced in pop culture. In movies, TVs. But to this day, and you had this experience recently in your visit back home to Vermont. I still listen to the same alt rock station occasionally that I had in the '90s, and I hear the same damn songs I heard
over and over again.
It's like they were deemed classics when they first came out. I mean, I can't speak for pop, but you just did.
You brought up a movie earlier, so I'm going to bring up the movie This Is the End, Seth Rogen movie.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the end of the movie, what heaven was?
No, I don't.
Heaven was them and Dancing with the Backstreet Boys.
Oh.
So when they all went to heaven the ones who went to heaven at the end of the film, they were up there dancing along to Backstreet's Back or something like that.
You know what? I don't even think I made it through the whole movie. So did it end with everybody singing Bye Bye Bye?
No, that's not Backstreet Boys, but you
See,
actually...
I got it wrong. Jesus Christ. Wait, is that in sync then?
No, that's yes.
Okay.
Sorry. No, that's yes. No, that's
sorry.
Yes.
Old guy
no,
Matt.
No. Yes.
I'm not asshole Matt. I'm old guy Matt today.
There you go.
But yeah, my point is these songs have never left. They've never had the time to just go away and become special.
Yeah, you're right.
To me, I mean, like I said, this is probably somebody else's '93, and they want to hold on to this music forever. But to never let something go is beyond it's beyond me. It's just not how I operate.
Yeah, I understand. So as we wrap up the episode and get to our 5 here now, Matt, I've like really what can Matt bring for 5 songs to this episode? And
It was a struggle.
And you picked 1999, so you get to go first. What is
Oh,
your first song of your 5 for 1999?
oh, my first boy. All of these are going to be short because while I like the songs, I'm not like overly emotionally attached to them.
I feel the same. I have no notes to my songs. The second episode where I put no notes to the songs.
I know, and I have very minimal notes because usually I'll listen to a song like a dozen times and kind of figure out what I like.
Before we get to our 5, though, you had a comment in the notes originally that you took out about Fred Durst's voice sounding like Peter Brady cracking all the time.
Oh,
and I spent the morning practicing just once.
Oh, please. Can we do an edit?
And I will break up.
Oh, we can
I'm going to throw that in right there and now. There you go, everybody.
Yeah, Fred Durst. Man, you got a range. You can stay low and scream in that. But as soon as you go into what you just did, it's like you just come off as a whiny bitch. Shut up.
Or a 13-year-old boy.
yeah, no, that's probably, strike whiny bitch. And just say 13-year-old boy.
With a backwards baseball cap.
With and I've kind of gone off on Ariana Grande for the whole, ponytail thing. Yeah. But when was the last time that guy took off that fucking hat?
Oh, check him out now.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
They've got a new album out. It came out last year. They played Lollapalooza, and he actually had no baseball hat on, and he had a full head of gray hair that he was just letting. And he had, I think, the new song Limp Bizkit came out with, which is kind of self-awareness and tongue-in-cheek, was called Dad Vibes. So I can give them a little bit of credit for that self-awareness.
Okay.
But I would recommend go look up a picture of Fred Durst and what he looks like now if you haven't done that.
Okay, I will.
But let's get to our 5.
Hey, she eventually took out the ponytail. He's got to lose that baseball hat. So, okay, I don't even know where to start. I have everything in a random order. And usually I like to kind of finish on, this was probably my more favorite song of the 5. But I definitely don't have that problem. So I'm just going to start with Tal Bachman and She's So High.
Nice.
This was do you remember in the 90s one of the better things to come out were these sampler CDs that you would get in magazines or whatever, and I think that's where I found this song. I don't know where else I would have heard it. It's just a good little pop song. He's the son of the guy in BTO, Richard Bachman. I don't know his name. Richard Bachman, not Stephen King. I don't know. I should have researched it better, but that's kind of where I am with 1999.
That's fine.
Like, just put your head down and power through.
This is the kid from Bachman. Turner Overdrive.
Tal Bachman, She's So High. It's a good song.
That's cool. So my number 1?
Yours.
Oh, this is going to be a short segment. Well, I'll start with a 311 song. My love of 311. I spent 2 hours ranting drunk to you about how much I love them, and I had to cut that out.
I have learned to never say a disparaging word about 311.
I don't love everything they do, but I love this song called
Flow. But you love their attitude.
I do. I like the spirit and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Yeah. And what I love about Flowing is I think it has 2 different elements going on in the same song. Even during the riffs, during the chorus, the verse riffs are almost metal. They're very heavy, and Nick is singing over them in his very light vanilla voice that he has. But there's something about it that really works. And then when it punches into the chorus, I love the rhythm and the syncopation of everything that's going on. Essay's only doing a background harmony vocal in it, which is what he's best at in the band, unless he's rapping a good rhyme, which happens occasionally. But this song, it's really cool. Go look up the music video if you want to check it out. I think the star of the music video was the actor who was after Stifler's mom in American Pie. I don't remember his name, but that's him. And it's a cool music video, a cool song. It's a combination between kind of being a pop song and a heavy metal song at the same time. And that's what I like about it. So
Sounds
that's my
good.
number one. Your number two.
My number two, I am going to go with Collective Soul and Compliment.
Whoa, whoa,
I
we're a
know,
few years
right?
late for Collective Soul here.
No, 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 no. This Dosage. This is from the album Dosage. This is a really good album. I really did love this album in '99. I went back and listened to it. I still like it a lot. I back in the day, I would get on this Jaguar. I'd listen to this album like 5, 6 times in a row. Um, but not so much anymore. But I still did really like this song. It starts out, it's pretty mellowish. A lot of their stuff is kind of mellowish, but they're just he's just good at writing good hooks, and I like this song a lot.
That's cool. All right, my number two.
Yeah, let's get this over with. Come on.
All right. No, my number two, I'm happy to talk about. You know, I'm a TLC fan. I brought one of their songs, but it was a cover version into what was our 2021 episode. So
is it Burning Down the House?
No.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's a funny joke. Go look that up, but we won't go any further. I really love this song called Unpretty by TLC. It is a great song for women who have to constantly feel like they're on show or being judged for their appearance solely. And it's unfortunate with the Kardashian generation. I think we see more and more women out there worried about their looks than who they actually are inside. And what this song is about is that everything that you are internally is what makes up who you are. And don't worry about whether you have the right clothes, the right makeup, the right hair, that the world might call you unpretty, but you're still a beautiful person. And, you know, coming from an R&B female group, this wasn't the kind of message that you were getting in 1999. I think it's still one of the strongest songs of that era. So yeah, that's my number two. All right, that's my number two. It's time for your number three, Matt. What do you got for us?
My number three, I am going to go with Dr. Dre. Forgot about Dre, and we forgot about rap this entire episode, except for the new metal,
about it. Yeah,
rap rock kind of thing. You know, in the sea of falsehoods that is 1999, this feels so authentic and unmanufactured. And Dr. Dre is cool, hands down. Can't argue with it. It's a fact. Look it up anywhere. I even forgive his use of that 808 hi-hat that can kind of drive me nuts, because I tune right into his voice because he's got such a great voice. And then you bring in Eminem, great song.
Yeah, good song.
Great song. Forgot about Dre.
We have a moment here. This is the first moment where we have songs off the same album, but back to back. This has not happened before. So my number three is Dr. Dre, The Next Episode.
Oh, good song. Yeah.
Eminem, he brought in for yours. He brings in Snoop for mine.
Oh,
yeah. Hold up. It's just such a great song. After we started getting into 99 and I was listening to the music, out of all the artists I actually own 2 or 3 albums of, I own both The Chronic and The Chronic 2 on vinyl. I love to listen to them. When we get to The Chronic, I'll probably talk about that in the year that it was released. But I love Snoop Dogg's vocal on this. La da 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 da. It's just so cool, smooth. And then the way that it ends with this like beat hold up, or whatever it does. And then all of a sudden you hear nothing. Smoke weed every day. And then it just stops and it goes on to the next song. And you're just like, what? But it's one of those, I think, actually, I'm not going to say it's one of those, both of these songs that are choices of ours are songs that have been kind of mimicked by other rap artists down the line. This album is fantastic. It still has that laid back kind of hip hop where there's real samples going on, even with the 808s and some additions put in. It's using real grooves in the music.
And the voices don't stop.
No.
Like in today's, where it's kind of like we kind of lackadaisically say a line, then we'll stop, and then it's like boom, 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 boom. Right?
Yeah, it just keeps going. So that's my number 3. What's your number 4?
My number 4 will be Guster. I don't think we've ever talked about Guster. We'll go with Fa Fa. This has to be my favorite album from 1990.
Okay,
Lost and Gone Forever.
Yep.
They were that breath of fresh air. probably because of the bongos,
Hmm.
and having seen them in concert. But this is a great song. It's got a great horn breakdown. Um, I love Guster for just being able to sing along with them.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
really great songs that I really love. So fa fa.
There you go. Guster was one of those bands that I think was bigger in Burlington than was bigger in Southern Vermont. I didn't get much Guster in
Yeah.
Rutland, but I know my friends that lived in Burlington, people I know who went to UVM,
Mhm.
they loved Guster.
Yeah,
So
and I think Ryan lives in Vermont now.
Middlebury, I think he was out of
Middle, yeah.
Middlebury. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yep. All right, so I'm going to dedicate this next song to you and your boy Owen. So I
Owen,
thought about the
the
army.
army. That's it. My dad
That's,
said you're fucking high.
I
I did not say
no,
that.
you did not say that.
We're very proud of him.
What a great career path, though. I think that first line is the only line that's actually, you
Oh,
know,
that's a great it's a
it,
great
it
song.
is. I love Ben Folds. I love his music. I might bring another song or two on the show during different years. You like Ben Folds. I could
Love
see
him.
you bringing on some of his music in the
When
right
we get the right
year.
years, definitely. Yeah.
To be honest, when I found this song, I was secretly hoping, ooh, I hope Matt doesn't remember this one.
I did, but then you put it on and I'm like, no, that's fine because
Yeah.
I can bring up something else.
Well, I like Ben Folds as an artist that's rare these days, playing piano and singing at the same time,
Mm.
having that sense of tongue in cheek in the music going on, and the music that they play together, whether he's by himself or with the Ben Folds Five, it's always kind of got this raw sound to it.
Yeah, I
That,
equate Ben Folds to punk rock.
yeah, on piano, it is
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. It fits no box.
Mhm.
It's so I go back to my mindset, 51. If it doesn't fit a box, it goes into punk.
Yep, yep, yep.
It's just it's an attitude. It's not a style. It's not a song, sound, or whatever.
Mhm. So there we go. That's my number four.
And if you ever get a chance, go see Ben Folds live.
I wish I
Great,
have.
great audience participation. It's
Mhm.
it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Okay, number five for you.
Oh, number five, that means 1999. It's almost over. Quick, let's get this over. Uh, no, I take that back because I really love this song. Ben Harper, "Steal My Kisses."
What a great song.
Oh, it's so laid back, chilled out, and yeah, you did it right there. There's no guitar solo, but there's a nice beatbox break. I mean, beatbox throughout the whole song, and there's a
Mhm.
lot of great bass noodling,
Which
especially
I
on.
can't do the beatbox. But that's
Yeah.
very important.
But yeah, "Steal My Kisses." This is a great song. I love Ben Harper.
Mhm.
He's
Great
definitely
message.
original, one of his
Yeah,
own. Oh yeah, definitely. It's positivity.
it is. It's one of those pure love songs. One of those ones
Yeah,
that you can't actually knock. There's nothing cheesy about it. It's just got a
yeah.
really nice feel to it.
You
Yeah.
always find yourself singing along, humming along, whatever. In the beatbox, maybe you're in your car, you find yourself trying to do it. I don't know.
No, I just tried to do it now and I failed.
Yeah.
All
All right,
right.
that's my
So
five.
my number five. Time for my
Yes.
number five.
Yes, it
All
is
right.
time.
It is a band actually from Scotland called Travis with the song Why Does It Always Rain on Me?
Okay, I like this song. I liked this
Yeah.
song at the time, and it still doesn't bother me.
Yeah, Travis still plays over here. They're still quite popular.
Oh, good.
They're actually coming up here to Aberdeen, I want to say, in the next few months to play this album. They're doing a national tour of the
Oh,
classic
great.
album, and they're still really well loved. A few years ago, he had a single on the radio, a duet with Susanna Hoffs, which was absolutely amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, I recommend looking that up. You'd like it. Uh, I I've got nothing bad to say about Travis, and I was over here in 1997, 98 over the winter time, Christmas time. So I was here from November until end of February, and during that time that I was here, I really tried to get into British bands and music, and I would try to keep up on them. And Travis was one of those lucky stabs in the dark where, oh, well, this is popular right now. I'd been away from the UK. I was in a
Mhm.
record store and I knew this was one of the hot bands from over there. And I bought the CD and it's always been with me. The whole CD has some great songs on it. I recommend it.
Yeah,
But
it's a good album.
yeah, it is. It is. But this song just has a great sentiment if you've lived in Scotland, because a lot of Scottish people can walk around and ask, why does it always rain on me? Because it's what
It's
happens
raining on everybody
all the time.
Oh, it's like Seattle.
It is. It's because you're from Scotland, and that's
Yes.
it. That's why it always rains on you. But great song. I didn't want the audience to add this. I thought maybe with the choices coming from a large majority of Scottish friends that it might get there, but I wanted to bring it to the show on my own.
Yeah, don't take a chance.
No,
right?
no.
Because I'm looking forward at what could exist on the poll.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you and I are probably like going, oh boy, what are we in for?
Yeah, we're getting a Britney or Christina song. We know it.
Yeah, exactly. and you know what? That's fine. Bring it, because this should be a communal experience, right?
And it
it's
culturally
not just for you and
represents
me.
music in that year.
Exactly.
And bringing everybody into it with us on the playlist. Look, we're not going to let you come on the show and tell us. Well, maybe we'll let one or two of you on the show to tell us.
Yeah.
But as far as people coming on and their opinions, I like the fact that people add their own songs. We know this is going to happen, and they're probably yelling at us for not adding a Britney or Christina or Backstreet Boys song.
Exactly.
How can you miss Backstreet's Back?
Because we didn't want to.
Because I never wrote a song called Jim's Back when I had to put out my second album. Like what the hell is up with that? You write a song about your back. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We know. I got the first album. I know you're back for the second album. Why are you going to tell me in a song?
Well, the key was that, all right, at the end.
That was the key.
That's the crowd participation, the hand claps,
yeah,
all of that. The woes and the ohs, halfway there. Whoa.
Okay, so there we go, everybody. We're now celebrating Backstreet Boys at the end of the episode. Let's wrap this up.
Celebrating or lampooning.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah. We don't mean to be dicks. We're just having fun. Blame beer.
Yes. And we didn't wear our asshole hats for this episode, because if we did,
no, we didn't.
We would actually probably be turned off by midway through. All right, Matt. So the end of 1999. Are you happy to wrap it up?
Oh, more than happy. More than happy to move on and go on to what's next. And I chose 1999. I apologize to you. So you get to choose where we're going next.
I'm not going to take us too far down the road. And like I said earlier in the episode, this new metal rap rock is going to last forever. So let's find out. We're going to go. We're going to go to 2005 for our next episode. Yeah, 2005. I think it'll be good. I was looking for a year that would be a little more engaging with music for myself, and hopefully it is for you, because after you gave us 1999, I was like, oh boy, this is 1986 all over again.
Yeah. Who owes Prince an apology?
Yeah, a lot of us owe Prince an apology. I'm sure Prince was pissed off in 1999 while that was all going on.
Christ. I imagine part of it was, youth, but not shit music. Woodstock,
Yeah, it was the wrong kind of party, people. It was the wrong kind of party.
But remember, the world was ending, so
at least we had Dr. Dre.
Yes, we did.
We did. All right, so I think it's your turn to wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. So sorry for 1999, or you're welcome for 1999, whatever side of the tracks you're on that one. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, and welcome back again. We're going to continue now with weekly releases, and tune in, and we will see you, or we won't see you, but you'll hear us next time when we go into 2005.
Yeah, you will. Oh, there's the dog.
That it yet, Lola? Hi, Lola.
Lola's there. 2005. There we go.
I'm looking forward to it because, like every other time, I think I know what I'm in for, but I don't.
I'm looking forward to it too. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Say goodbye to Lola. Goodbye, Lola.
Bye, Lola.
And we hope you join us for the next episode. Peace, love, and podcast.